Welcome back to the Blue Chip Breakdown, Vols fans. It's day 8 of fall camp, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm sorry if you hear some noise in the background. Got some people doing some yard work outside, but I got to get this video out for y'all. So, scrimmage sound like it went well. Sounds like the defensive line got the best of the offensive line, which is, that's actually a good thing early on in camp. The defense is always going to be ahead of the offense. It's just a lot less to have to I guess like gel with when you're on defense. It's a lot more of a see ball, get ball mentality than it is on offense when there's a lot of timing involved. So that's a good sign. That just means that our defensive line is going to be good because we already know that the offensive line is going to get it right. Coach E does an excellent job with that offensive line, and our scheme really plays a big part into that as well. But, so I'm not too concerned about the overall offensive line, at least not for the first couple of weeks. Now, one thing that I will say is that Cooper Mays had a minor procedure. We don't know what it was on, or, if it was leg, if it's upper body issue, we don't know. But I think that they're underplaying that, y'all. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, and I could be completely wrong. I hope that I am, but I don't know. That sounds like that could be something that's a little bit more serious than what they're letting on to. Good news is we've got a lot of very versatile guys on this football team, pretty much everywhere, but especially on that offensive line. A lot of guys that can play anywhere on that line. And Ollie Lane seems to be the guy that's going to be plugged in at center, which means that Andre Carriage and Addison Nichols will probably be our left guard. And while we're on the offensive line, it sounds like Gerald Mincy has been back working at right tackle. That's good. That's great. Again, it's always good just to have guys that are versatile that can play right tackle, left tackle, right guard, left guard, center if need be, because it's a long season, man. And, injuries and, little bumps and bruises do happen. So, whenever we're playing against a team that we know we can handle with some of our second, third string guys, it's good to know that we have people in those positions that we can trust. And that is one of the biggest differences, I believe, from this team versus last year's team. Our top end guys were really, really good. I feel like everyone overperformed. This year, we've got a lot of quality depth. It's not going to be a huge drop off pretty much anywhere from first, second, and even third string. And there's a lot of positions where it's pretty much no drop off at all the way down to pretty much fourth or fifth string. Linebacker is the one that I'm thinking of. Running back right here. This is another one. So we're in a great position, guys. Nothing to be alarmed about. I would not be surprised if Cooper Mays doesn't play in the first portion of our season all the way up to the Florida game. So we're going to be just fine. The biggest thing, obviously, is that Florida game. And, that's when we want to have all of our guys, and we want to be able to go down to the swamp and get that big W that we've all been talking about. Also, back to the scrimmage on Thursday, sounds like the quarterbacks were really crisp. They played great. I heard that Joe Milton had some nice deep balls and that he was accurate. Sounds like Nico was also really accurate. And this is something that we've been talking about on this channel pretty much since, I would say before Nico even got on campus, that he's just a baller. He might not do great in practice, none of that type of stuff. He may have a couple of hiccups here and there, but he is the absolute truth when those lights turn on. And that's really what you want. You want a guy that's going to perform when the lights turn on, and, not so much in practice. That's something that AI was famous for. He said, we're talking about practice. I don't really care. Hey, look, I want for you to give your best effort in practice. But if I know when it's game time, if you're a baller, you're going to be playing. So that's great news moving forward. And, obviously it's always good to know that you've got a really good backup quarterback. As quiet as this has been kept, I think that Nico could potentially be a top 10 quarterback in this entire country. And I know some of y'all might say, well, you're being a homer or that's far-fetched, but if you just watch this guy ball, go back to that spring game, that throw on the run on the sideline to Ethan Davis, that is a top tier elite throw. That's a throw that a lot of NFL quarterbacks can't even make. That was a beautiful throw. So he's got a super high ceiling. Obviously Joe, I'm picking him to win the Heisman. I'm picking us to probably, we might not run the tables, but I'm picking us to go to the playoffs. And once we get into the playoffs, you have to be in it to be able to win it. And, you know, I feel like we're going to be able to get in it. And once we get in there, I think that Coach Hype will be able to outcoach anybody. So offensive line is going to be fine. Sounds like the defensive line is doing well. Saw a couple of clips. You know, I told y'all ball_football on Instagram. They'll post some clips of the scrimmages and of, you know, some, I guess situations where the media will not have coverage to it. And, we look really good. Mincy looked really good moving up to the second level. Arion Carter, he had a big, I think it might have been a safety. You know, he's just an absolute beast. And it was also a play, I want to say it was Jalen Wright, like he kind of trucked Tank McCullough. So, that's not good on the defensive side of the football, but it's definitely good to see those running backs playing with their pad level right and running through contact. I don't think Tank is going to be starting. I think that they're doing their best to find somebody else, but he would be a good piece, like a good backup piece. We've got a lot of depth everywhere, guys. Super excited. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure, as always, to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share it with your friends, share it with your family, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.